Well, as you can see, I've made a significant mess. However, I do have some information. I have cleaned this half underneath, all inside there, and on top of here. I replaced some of the caps, the electrolytics here, and a couple of caps inside there, and found that I have a lot of bad resistors, and I've got to order them. I think I got some on order. I'm not sure if I have the sizes that I need. Some of these are pretty big. But I just kind of temporarily moved it all the way up here. I think it fits right about here, but I moved it up so I can get to this back, to this end of it now. And something that I did do was I checked. This is the rheostat, by the way. The center is not, and I had that noted on the schematic. Here R1 is the rheostat, which is the voltage sensitivity knob, and this one here, R2, that's the center knob that does the microfarads as you're going around. It's all just microfarads, and that's where you set it on however many microfarads it's supposed to be. Then you take your, you set the voltage right, and then you got your power factor knob, which is R16, and it's this one. No, I'm sorry, this flipped. It's good night. Oh, I have it backwards. Whoa. Sensitivity voltage is R3. I mean R16. So anyway, I'll look at that again. It's really late, and but what I did, I was just started to tell you, is that I hooked up the meter to an alligator clip. All of these, all three of these, and they all mount just fine, exactly as they are supposed to. And then and they work pretty good. Now I'm gonna pop these off when I get all this cleaned up, and we'll spray some deoxit in there, and we'll make sure they're nice and clean and that they work. Something else interesting, and I temporarily put some screws in here just to hold this as I flipped it over, because I was going to continue working, but it's really late. I'll have to pick this up tomorrow. I want to show you one thing, show you all something. This is okay. Now all that white powder and some of the roughness is gone. That's not the prettiest thing in the world, but the corrosion's gone. Now I'm not going to take all this apart and buff it out or spray paint it or anything like that. But this bar, resistor bar, I put the alligator clips on it and tested it, and I thought, oh man, the thing's DOA. It wouldn't measure anything. Wouldn't measure anything. But now, after cleaning it, I don't know what that did, but it certainly has started to work. And it took me a while to figure out how to measure the ohms on this thing, because here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leads, taps coming out of the resistor, and then we have a ground here. So the first thing I did was I put the ground here, and I began measuring the taps. .8. It's supposed to be 10. Okay? Each one of these is supposed to be 10. That one's measuring, you know, I was getting all kinds of weird measurements. So like, okay, 10 plus 10 would be 20, but that was 18. It was close, 18 something. But then when I came over here, 18 and a half. Then when I came over here, I was at 22, which didn't make any sense. And here was 20, that didn't make any sense. And then here is 20 again, didn't make any sense. So, that's not the way we measure. Alright, now, this, you see the distance between the taps is even, except for these two. This must be the 5 k ohms here. Alright, it's measuring 6 now. It was measuring like 4.8 or something. Now it's measuring 6.2. Alright. $30, $20, I have a hard time understanding what this thing's doing. 6.2 for whatever reason. That was alright. Distance. Alright, the measurement between there, between these two taps, 11.3. Measurement between those two taps, 11.7. Between these two taps, 10.6. So there should be one more between these two. 11.8. So it's 10, 10, 10, 10, 5. Well, on this, because of this thing's plus or minus 20%, you know, back in the day. Let's see what the specs were. This is it. R10, 45,000 ohms, tapped for 10, 5. It doesn't really say what the tolerance was. Well, if it's not specified, it's plus or minus 20. Okay? So, plus or minus 20. If it's measuring 11 to 12, like this is 11.9, let's just say, let's call it 12. It's supposed to be 10. That's within 20%. Alright. However, this one is supposed to be 5,000 ohms. 6.3 is a little high. That's out of tolerance. And it wasn't measuring that high a few minutes ago. And it wasn't measuring anything at all before that. So, but I think I cleaned a lot of, I don't know, I cleaned around it and everything. Oh, nice. And well, after I had done that, it was started to measure. Now, notice these three coils here. Bring the camera in a little closer. These three coils, 1, 2, 3, are wire round resistors. Take a look at those. They are cloth wire wrapped around spools, and they are amazingly accurate. I have measured the resistance on those. How you say small, medium, large, basically, just in size, right? We could take our alligator clips here. Basically, these three, the side, the right side, is a ground bus. They're all grounded together. Alright, so that's 5,000 ohms. That's 50,000 ohms. Oh, alligator clips. Jeez. And this is 500,000 ohms. Now, on the schematic, first let me look at this list. These are them. Remember the matched? We were talking about the matched resistors. Those, 3 of those are these wire round. R4, 5, and 6. So R4, R5. That's all good. Now, I had 3. I've had several bad resistors. These are just 3 of them, and I don't have the replacements yet. I've got some on the way in the mail. But the deeper I go down in this area here, there's a couple of resistors. There's one here, there's one right below it, and then there's this one here on the front, and none of those are within specs. And I believe that one is good. Why am I wearing these gloves? No, this one is no good. I remember now, this is supposed to be 20. Oh, that is. No, it is good. It is good. It's And this one is good, I believe. Just take these off. Nasty gloves. Ah. 91. White on the end. Yeah, that's correct. 91. So that one's good. But this one, it does. This one here is a 24. I'm not very good at reading this chart yet. 24K. The schematic calls for 25K. So this has either been replaced or yeah, it's not, yeah. Hold it. There we go. 22 and a half is what it's measuring. It's supposed to be a 24 according to its colors. And according to the parts list, this is okay. This is coming off of pin 4 on the 6E5. Oops, sorry. Pin 4. I labeled all the pins right. Pin 4 coming off of the 6E5 is supposed to be a 25K resistor, R19. It measures 22 and a half. R19 is supposed to be 25,000 ohm. So, and that's a 1 watt resistor. Now, why did they put a 24 when it was supposed to be 25? I guess they figured that was close enough. However, it's supposed to be 19, well, plus or minus 20%. However, this has a silver stripe, which would have been plus or minus 10, which would have been nowhere near the 25K. But anyway, it's measuring low in value, which is odd. Usually they'll go higher in value as they age and whatnot, but this one is not. It's it's below its value. But I guess I can I'll put a 25K in there just to make sure, because there were a lot of blown resistors in here. Not blown, I mean, they didn't catch fire, they didn't pop or anything like that. But there were a lot of bad resistors down in this area and around this button bar. So I am wondering if, you know, somebody tried to run this for a while with all these old capacitors in it. Probably, you know, could have been the guy who sold it to me, trying to figure out if the thing worked or not. And then I plugged it in for a little while, but it hummed. Like I said, it hummed really loud, and so I just didn't even. I just turned it off immediately. This resistor is bad. I remember that. Let's see. It is supposed to be brown black. See, that'd be 10K. 10K. Oh, come on. There we go. Well, let's see. Well, Well, that's am I reading this right? $100K. 10, 100, 1 megabyte. No. Yeah, what's the difference between 10? One megabyte. 1 megabyte. 1 mega ohm. 22,000. I think that's bad. It's reading. It's reading way too high on the. Yeah, what am I talking about? That's almost, that is like way out. So it's no good. So, man, it's just really late. I need to go to bed. When it gets this late, my brain doesn't function. Alright, so, well, there's plenty more resistors to check down in this area, and there's something going on coming off the microfarad knob. By the way, I broke this off. It goes here. It just, I don't know. Standoff. Just weld a new, solder a new one on. Right down in there. There's 2 resistors in series. $25 $250K in series. 250K in series is 500K, which is in accordance to the schematic that's coming off of the up here R2, where it says center microfarad that I have circled. It is let me find it. I have a 2K going to ground there, and that is not it. Oh, that's supposed to be a 500K resistor. Somewhere well, it's going to C9 C5 down there, which is button 9. Man, I'll have to find it later. I can't read that tonight. But the reason why, the reason for all this is not so much these being in series, it's these two being in series with it and in parallel with it's got two resistors in parallel and running in series with these two. So I did the math, and this was about a month ago. Did the math on this, and it doesn't jive. It just doesn't jive. So we need to kind of figure out what's going on there. Okay. And I'll have to tear all of this out to clean the corrosion in there and everything. I'll take each potentiometer off and clean up underneath it, and then put them back on and recap that, and then visit the resistors. By the way, there's another one right here on this button bar that is, I think, bad, and I can check it real quick. Yeah, I'm not getting a reading. I'm not getting a reading on it, so I think it's bad. Make sure there's no crud on there that's keeping it from making contact. No, it's just bad. And I had one of those that I showed you. It was this one, R20, which was a 20,000, a 2 mega ohm. If I'm wrong, sue me. But anyway, the it reads intermittent. You know, one time you check it and it'll flash, or it'll just flash the value and then it'll go to zero. It'll just flash the value and go to zero. So I couldn't ever figure out there's something going on with it. Or go to go open. You know, it flash the value, go open. So that can't be good. And anyway, we'll pick this up later on. Until next time.